The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Confidence, seriousness, and faith in what this country
its
can
vision
become.
to move the Bahamas forward. It has a document that it is presenting this evening called the Blueprint for Progress. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. This is a special paid political broadcast live from the Harry Seymour Library here at the University of the Bahamas. Joining me is Senator Deasante Small, and also leader of the digital campaign as well for the Progressive Liberal Party. Senator, good evening to you. It's good to have you here. The Prime Minister is speaking. We have a lot to get to and talk about, but right now we're going to send it to the front of this room this evening, where Prime Minister Philip Davis is addressing the nation.
That cycle of change has held the Bahamas back for too long. One administration starts the work, another comes in and stops it. Projects slow down, plans are shelved, momentum is broken, and the people are left waiting while politics starts all over again. That is not the way to build a country. That is not the way to create lasting progress. And the progress we want to build on tonight will show you exactly why that cycle must end. It is about whether we keep moving toward a safer Bahamas, a more affordable Bahamas, a Bahamas with wider opportunity, a Bahamas where government works better for the people it serves. And tonight, for the first time ever, we will also release something that matters to me. Tonight, it will allow people to follow what was promised in our blueprint for change and measure whether we delivered. And it will allow people to judge our record for themselves. Everyone can see everyone will be able to see what was promised, what was completed, what is still in progress, and what was abandoned or delayed. I believe that when you ask the people for their trust, you should also be prepared to show them your work. You should be prepared to be measured. You should be prepared to be held accountable. And you should be prepared to let the public see clearly where you stood, what you promised, and what you did. That is the spirit in which we released that tracker tonight. And during tonight's presentation, you will hear from the progressive young liberals, and they will take you through how to use that tracker. I'm especially pleased about that because it says something about the kind of party we are. We are a party that believes the next generation must have a voice now. We are a party that believes that young people must help shape the future they will inherit. We are a party that believes progress must be seen, measured, and carried forward. So tonight, listen closely. Listen to the vision. Listen to the plan. Listen to the direction. And judge us by the seriousness of the work, the honesty of the record, and the strength of the future we are asking you to build with us. Friends, we have achieved a great deal together, but there's still more work ahead. And there's still much more that's worth fighting for. So let us make our case. Let us put the future before the Bahamian people. And let us choose progress together. Thank you.
I think we could do much
Good evening
better
and welcome
than
back
that.
to
Much
Beyond the
better.
Headlines. We are live here at the Harry Seymour Library at the University of the Bahamas. You are watching a live political event. This is a paid political broadcast. The Progressive Liberal Party is launching its Blueprint for Progress. And Senator Small, first of all, good evening once again. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines and this special event for you and, of course, the Progressive Liberal Party. Prime Minister Davis just sort of laid the foundation and addressed this audience. How significant is that to have him out front this evening for something that is hugely important for the PLP as it heads to the next general election?
Shown that he is willing to be brave, not just in his nickname, but in how he leads and how he presents. And I think what was very important what he said is that even before we talk about how we move this country forward, he says that progress is something that you should be accountable to. And we must be able to lay out to the Bahamian people how we've tracked and measured that. And so I'm very excited about the Bahamian people seeing the progress tracker. I think they will see that we are willing to show what we've done, what is still in progress, and what's coming next. And so I'm really excited about that.
Now, of course, I couldn't come here live this evening and not do my own little homework. And so I was told that there are about 380 plus items on a list that this administration laid out and set out to do, and over 300 have been accomplished.
Correct.
Talk about that progress tracker.
Yes. So we had over 380, I think it's 387 commitments. And so we've made every note of everything that was in that blueprint for change. And we have said, what have we completed? What is in progress? And what is coming next? And if there was, for whatever reason, a project that we could not deliver and have made a strategic decision, it explains exactly why. And that's transparent governance. That's transparent leadership. And so I'm really excited about people seeing that.
Now, I want to lay this room out for you all so you have an idea of what you're looking at this evening as you watch this broadcast. This is the Harry Seymour Library. It is a portion of that library sort of in the center area. This area is full. On the stage, you will see persons sitting there. Those are members of the Progressive Young Liberals, who I understand has a sneak peek already of the 2026 and beyond sort of blueprint for progress. Talk about their response to it when they were presented with the idea, and why did the party see it fit to kind of bring them in on that level?
So they've been more than just the viewers. They were actually a part of the development. So our young people serve on that committee that put together the blueprint for progress. And so we're excited. The tracker and the progress, the young people being a part of that is because they inherit those decisions. They inherit those policies. They are the ones that have to live with those decisions over the next 5, 10, 15 years. And so they should be in the room, not just listening, but being a part of the conversation, being able to make suggestions. And as I sat with these young liberals, their eyes lit up as they saw their work in print. And so I'm really excited for them to see that work come to fruition. And I know they look forward to seeing those programs come to life when we return to government.
my show has a youth panel, and they said what has them excited and pulled them in is the fact that they have a voice, and the voice seems to be respected, the opinions, the thoughts of whatever it is that they want to sort of see being a part of the fabric of the Bahamian life moving forward, that they are very, very happy to see many of those ideas now at the forefront, now in black and white, as you said. Talk about the Davis administration's intention to do just that, be very deliberate and bringing in the youth voice.
So knowing Mr. Davis, our Prime Minister, as long as I have, I believe that this is how his leadership is, and he's allowed it to translate in the type of administration he's led. And so whether it's appointments to boards, every opportunity where young people are not just having a voice, but their value is prioritized, their talent, their excitement, their energy, but also their ideas and their ability to lead those boards, those respective entities within government. And so that's what he's intentionally done throughout the past 5 years. But when you read the blueprint for progress, you will see that young people have been very intentional with being included in how we look at healthcare, not just in youth issues, but healthcare and education, safety. These are the issues that really matter to them. And so
they aren't just saying, oh, those are adult issues.
No,
it's
not at
also
all.
issues that are important to them.
Correct.
To see addressed now.
Correct. So in safety, in housing, in affordability, in how we ensure that every Bahamian has access to opportunity, that is what has mattered to them. And so throughout the entire document, yes, there's a section for youth, but throughout the entire document, our young people have been influencing those policies and how we move forward.
Senator, I want you to kind of just put a pause right there, because this evening, of course, this is a paid political broadcast, and starting out the speeches from ministers is the Minister of Education and the candidate in the Angliston constituency, Glenys Anna Martin, and so we now send it to the front of the room.
Because every promise we make as a country rests on what happens in the life of a child. It starts early. In our next term, we will make early childhood care and pre-primary education universal and compulsory from age 4. And this matters because by the time a child enters a classroom, so much has already been decided. Confidence, language, curiosity, readiness, the chance to keep pace. We are saying that that right should belong to every Bahamian child. We're also saying that children who need extra help must be identified early and supported early. That is why we will strengthen screening, maintain a national register for students with special needs, and continue to build on Program SURE. Because a good education system does not wait for a child to fall behind and then shrug your shoulders. A good education system reaches early, responds early, and lifts early. We are building on a strong base. We've already shown what happens when a government takes children seriously. The school breakfast program changed mornings for families across this country. It eased pressure in the home. It helped children come to school ready to learn. It supported healthier outcomes. It put money back into household budgets. Now we expand that program to every junior high school. Reaching more than 7,000 additional students. And because the world our children is entering is changing fast, our education system must change with it. We will support every student in every government school with programs in AI literacy, coding, mathematics, and language training. A child should not be locked out of the future because of where they live or what their family can afford. I love our children. I'm disclosing that sometimes on my way to work, I stop, see why they're late, put them in my car, take them to school. But the experience is deeper than that, because I look in their eyes and I see the hope of this nation. I see the future of this country sitting right beside us. And that is why we must build an education system that reaches every child, including children with special needs and children on the autism spectrum. To every parent and caregiver with children who fit this description, this government is by your side. We will provide modern, purpose-built facilities, expand early diagnosis, therapeutic support, and train classroom assistants across New Providence and the Family Islands, and restart planning for a dedicated post-secondary institute for disabled adults so more Bahamians can move towards skills, independence, and meaningful work. This is how we nurture the incredible potential of our children and give them every chance to grow, to learn, and to thrive. We're also modernizing education infrastructure because children and teachers deserve schools that are fit for learning, fit for growth, and fit for this century. Let me say this clearly. Education is not one road for one kind of child. Some young people thrive in academic pathways. Some will discover their gifts through technical and vocational training. Some need a second chance before life closes in on them. That is why we will construct a modern, purpose-built BTVI main campus with first-rate facilities for technology, renewable energy, advanced construction trades, and logistics. And that is why we are introducing the Skills for Life program across government high schools. Skills for Life is about catching young people before they fall through the cracks. It's about giving at-risk students, especially some of our young men who are drifting away from school, practical intervention, real certification, mentorship, life skills, and a pathway into work. This is the foundation we are building on, a foundation where a child starts earlier, a foundation where a child is fed, a foundation where a child is supported, a foundation where a child is equipped, a foundation where no young Bahamian is discarded. That is what progress in education looks like. And that is the future we are building. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I feel like I've been to the ringer.
What makes upskills special is the fact that it's free education for anybody. Once you're a Bahamian, it's for you. I feel like the Prime Minister did a great job with working with companies here to see what specific skill sets are needed for Bahamians to get hired. And I am paying absolutely nothing for upskill. That's insane. This is like college level certification for free, just because I'm a Bahamian. The Prime Minister definitely understands that upskill makes you a smarter job candidate, and you could help build a better future, help build a career off of it.
My name is Ankia Roll. I'm a maritime apprentice with the National Apprenticeship Program. My aunt, she sent me this link. I looked over it, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. I love the boat. I love waterside security, keeping all the tourists safe. I have now applied for a permanent position, and now I want to be
Back live here on Beyond the Headlines here at the Harry Seymour Library at the University of the Bahamas. If you're just tuning in, this is a special paid political broadcast. I am live here. The Progressive Liberal Party is launching its Blueprint for Progress platform this evening. If you're just tuning in, Prime Minister Davis opened this session this evening. We just heard the Asante, we just heard Minister of Education Glenn Asana Martin address this crowd here. And I'll tell you about the crowd. The room is packed. Many people are standing at the back of the room on the stage where Minister of Labor is speaking right now. Are, I guess, several, if not perhaps a dozen young liberals who are sitting there on that stage. And I know that's quite intentional.
Yes.
We'll hear more about that in a minute. But I know, of course, many of you want to hear what the government plans on doing, what it has done in terms of this term, and if they were to be successful for another term. So you want to hear from as many of the cabinet ministers as possible. And so we're going to send it back to the front of the room where Minister of Labor, Pia Glover-Roll, is addressing this audience.
We will strengthen the notice of vacancy process so Bahamians get genuine first access to jobs in every sector, and where employers who try to bypass that system will not be able to. There will be verified compliance and real consequences. We will secure a dedicated facility for the National Youth Guard cadets. And we will bring legislation to establish the Guard as a formal national service and disaster preparedness force. We will grow that program beyond the 400 cadets already trained, with clear enrollment targets for every year of the second term. We will also bring the Employment Bill into law to replace a very outdated Employment Act that no longer reflects the reality of a modern working life. We will cap probation at 6 months in the private sector and 12 months in the public service. We will guarantee every worker a paid 1 hour break on shifts of 8 hours or more and get at least 8 hours of rest in between shifts. We will recognize mental health as a workplace right by providing free mental wellness days each year with no doctor's note required. We will increase maternity leave from 12 weeks to 14 weeks and expand more. And for the first time, we will provide 2 weeks of paid paternity leave. And we will create a legal right to adoption leave. We will require employers to give nursing mothers reasonable breastfeeding breaks, and workplaces with 20 or more employees will be required to provide a suitable private space. And because a stronger economy must create room for Bahamians to rise into the best jobs, we will launch a Bahamian professional development program focused on filling high-paying roles with Bahamian talent. We will develop a national workforce demand index so we can identify where the economy is growing and where the jobs are. And we will work directly with major employers and investors to identify skills gaps in real time so training is tied to actual opportunity. We will introduce a high-value jobs track for sectors where Bahamians remain underrepresented at the professional and managerial levels. We will require all major investment projects receiving concessions to submit a Bahamian employment and professional development plan with clear targets for hiring, promotion, and skills transfer. And even more, we will expand professional and technical scholarships in high-demand, high-earning fields linked directly to employer commitments. That is what we will do. We will train more Bahamians. We will place more Bahamians into work. We will strengthen protections for workers. We will open doors for more opportunities for our young people. And we will give Bahamians the pathways and the tools to move ahead.
When I first went to the
government of the Bahamas is pretty aware there's a skills gap, and that gap is closing due to a lot of initiatives.
I heard the Minister of Education, Glenys Martin, talk about the fact that she picks up students and takes them to school and finds out, though, beyond that, what's going on with them, laying out a future of what a second Davis administration term would look like for education. And then just to hear Pierre Gloverol talk about, for the first time ever, paternity leave, 2 weeks, increased maternity leave. I'll tell you, this night is so jam-packed. I will give you an opportunity to speak, but I know that you all want to hear a lot of what this blueprint for progress looks and sounds like. And so we're going to send it right now back to the front of the room where Golden Isles candidate Darren Pickstock is now addressing the crowd.
Yes.
We will use to prepare Bahamians for the economy that is already taking shape around us. We will use and we will enact an e-government act and require every government agency to be on my gateway within 3 years. That means fewer lines, less paperwork, less running from office to office, and a government that works with great speed, greater clarity, and greater respect for people's time. We will bring more public service online. We will keep building a digital government that is easier to use, easier to access, and easier for Bahamians on every island to rely on. We will also launch the Bahamian AI Academy through BTVI and the University of the Bahamas. Artificial intelligence is not some far-off idea. It is here now, and it is already shaping business, education, public service, and the modern workplace. And if Bahamians are going to compete and lead, Bahamians must have the chance to learn, build, manage, and govern these tools for ourselves. That is why we will introduce AI into the workplace, and that is why we will introduce AI through K through 12 curriculum. That is why we will deploy adaptive AI learning tools in all government schools within 3 years. And that is why we are linking this work to education, skills, and opportunity. Because the future cannot belong only to those who can afford private access. It must belong to Bahamian children in government school. It must belong to young people in Nassau and Freeport. And it must belong to young people in the Family Islands too. We are also drawing a clear line on the values that must guide this work. We will establish ethical guardrails, no facial recognition without preliminary approval, no predictive policing of individuals, no social scoring. We will use technology to serve people, not control them. We will use it to widen opportunity, not weaken freedom. And we will use it in a way that reflects the laws, values, and democratic standards that Bahamian people deserve. This is why our platform commits to making the Bahamas the first country in CARICOM with a dedicated AI Governance Act. We do not intend to sit back and watch others make the rules for this region. We intend to lead. We intend to set standards, and we intend to prepare this country for a future in which technology works in the interest of Bahamians. This is what we will do. We will modernize government. We will train our people, and we will equip our students. We will protect the public, and we will place the Bahamas in front on all the defining issues this generation face today. Thank you.
Let's hear it one more time for Darren Pickstock. Education and training is the foundation to all of our lives. Opportunity is what we make of it. And AI and technology can expand that opportunity, and if employed well, will make our lives easier and
Of course, watching Beyond the Headlines, we are live here at the University of the Bahamas, and I promise I'm just going to say this and you will come in. We are here live at the University of the Bahamas at the Harry Seymour Library, where the Progressive Liberal Party is launching its Blueprint for Progress 2026 document leading into the next general election and beyond. So much has been said already this evening. Senator DeSante Small, what stands out to you already?
What stands out to me is that it's not just about opportunity, but access. You hear about how do we bridge the gap between those who can afford and making sure that there's access in our schools, making sure that there's access for opportunity when it comes to education and training and technology. So it's not a have and have nots, it's making sure that every Bahamian has access to those opportunities. And I think that's what matters most.
To bridge the gap and be able to bring access to the person, whichever neighborhood they're from and they live, an island, that they too can sort of knock on the door and get in.
Yes. And I think that's really important how we move progress forward. I think we're about to start going into the tracker. And so while I would love to talk, I don't want to miss this part.
So this is key.
Yes.
You all, this is key. This is the tracker. This is sort of a report card of what's been done already.
Yes, a little bit.
Let's just take a look at this.
Delivered, yellow for in progress, red for delayed, revised, replaced, or discontinued. As you go through the tracker, you'll see the different categories. We have our different categories. So as you can see, we have the different policy notes. So does anybody remember things that happened, a policy that was delivered in 2021? Anybody in the crowd? 2022? Pardon, Mrs. Strawn? Okay, and see, these are reasons why we have to know where we're at so we can know where we're going, and so we can know how progress really affects us. Thank you.
much, Angel. I hope you all take at least a few minutes to look at the Blueprint Tracker for yourselves and see what the track record of this government has been for the past 6 years, and see how we are
Welcome back. I'm Shanique Miller here on Beyond the Headlines, live at the Harry Seymour Library at the University of the Bahamas. Senator DeSante Small is next to me. This tracker is very important for the government, not just to obviously grade itself and present a new case to the Bahamian people, but also to show that it's a government that gets things done. Yes?
Is that the administration wanted to ensure that we kept a record of what we've promised, what we've delivered, what is still being worked on, but also ensuring that you see what's coming next. It all connects. We're not restarting. We're not resetting in a way that says, let's stop everything we've been doing for the past 5 years. Let's continue to build on things that are working. Let's work on the things that is really bringing progress to every Bahamian. But let's also assess where we have to do more work. And so I think the track is the exact place we need to be right now, as many people are deciding why the PLV, this is why. This is why, because they're not just transformative, but they're transparent. They're tracked. They're measurable progress. And I think this document and this digital track is exactly where we start.
I'll tell you this is a hot button issue here in this election season: housing, the shortage of housing, the cost of rent, so much. And so Minister of Housing Keith Bell, who's the candidate for Carmichael, is now speaking. We're going to send it back to the front of the room.
We have removed VAT from food at the food store. And we are going further to bring down the cost of living. We will enact modern competition law to ban price fixing and penalties abuse of market dominance. We will fully introduce the Price Comparison Act and require clear tax incentive pricing so Bahamians can see exactly what they are paying. We will create a rapid response anti-gouging system so people can report unjustified price hikes and government can investigate and act. And yes, we will diversify trade and open more direct sourcing from lower cost suppliers so savings have a better chance of reaching the Bahamian consumer. That is one side of a fairer economy. The other side, of course, is making sure more Bahamians can own, can build, and can grow within their economy. We will expand access to credit for small businesses through the SBDC and the Bahamas Development Bank. We will support Bahamian entrepreneurs so they can use equipment, they can use vehicles, and inventory as collateral. Because too many ideas stall for one reason: access to capital. We want Bahamian businesses growing, more Bahamian businesses hiring, more Bahamian businesses owning a larger share of our economy. We will also make it easier to do business. We will build a simpler digital path so a Bahamian can register a company, obtain a business license, and of course, register with national insurance and receive a tax ID through one application on My Gateway. What this means, fellow Bahamians, is less red tape, less delay, less running around, and more time spent building. We will also make sure investment in this country works on Bahamian terms. Ladies and gentlemen, we will establish a foreign direct investment compliance unit to audit concession agreements and verify that investors are living on their commitments. If investors receive concessions, they must deliver. They must meet their obligations. They must help create real value for Bahamian people. We'll also review and consolidate the encouragement acts into one modern incentives framework that is clear, that is fair, and fit for an economy we are trying to build now. That means a system that is easier to understand, easier to manage, and better aligned with national goals. We also want a stronger economic life in the heart of New Providence. So we will explore mixed-use developments downtown that combine retail, residential, and hospitality and help bring new life, new commerce, and new opportunities into that space. And we will demand better performance from state-owned enterprises. Ladies and gentlemen, we will require all state-owned enterprises to submit binding business plans by 2027 with clear milestones to reduce dependence on government subsidy. Because a fairer economy also means better discipline, better management, and better value for our public. This is the economy, ladies and gentlemen, we are building. An economy with lower costs, an economy with clearer rules, an economy with more room for Bahamian ownership, an economy that is easier to enter, easier to grow in, and fairer to the people it is meant to serve. That is our commitment. That is our direction. And that is why we ask the Bahamian people to choose progress. May God continue to bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
There are a lot of new opportunities in our country. We are building an economy that includes everyone. And you chose to come to PTVI.
The best place to learn.
Expanding and
You are watching live coverage of the Progressive Liberal Party's launch of its Blueprint for Progress. It is a special paid political broadcast. We are going to take a break here on Beyond the Headlines and come back with much more right here from the Harry Seymour Library at the University of the Bahamas right after the break. Stay close.
Boy, Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokes model. And I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Uh-oh. Luckily, it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. Well, just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop. Damn. You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, process you, and entertains you 24/7.
My name is Charles Wesley Rowe. My organic farm is Nice Layers Organic Farm. I have 230 birds up here. I give them fresh water, pumpkin, lettuce, cabbages, all the vegetables. Anything what I eat, they eat. Right now, we sell the eggs for $7 a dozen from Monday to Friday. On Saturdays, you can get 4 dozen eggs for $21. I'll be located on Jamaica Road, the western side, Silverstone Primary School.
Hey, it's time to lock in your vote.
Your vote is your power.
With the new boundaries in place, you may need to transfer or confirm your voter registration.
And if you have never registered or didn't plan to vote,
don't get left out on one of the most important decisions of your future.
Make sure when election day comes, you're ready to say,
your say, your vote, your choice.
The race to 2026 is heating up, and the nation's voice is louder than ever. Here on Beyond the Headlines, we're checking the mood, the momentum, and the message of the people. I'm Shanique Miller. Each week, we're taking the temperature of the electorate to see what's really driving the nation. Who's connecting? Who's cooling off? What issues are heating up ahead of 2026? This is Temperature Check 2026, where journalism meets the nation's heartbeat.
Play for fun, not for funds.
In the Bahamas, we play hard, but we live smart.
We love a little competition.
A little excitement, a little thrill.
And at Island Luck, gaming is all about entertainment.
Shared moments, celebrating the wins, and enjoying the experience.
The key is simple. Play for fun, not for funds. When you set a budget before you start,
and know your limits, you stay in control.
And when you're in control, the game stays what it's meant to be.
Fun. So play for fun, not for funds.
Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
This will be done so communities have a better chance to grow and attract investment. And let me speak to Grand Bahama for a minute. We will meet with Grand Bahama Port Authority licensees to develop a roadmap for development and to secure annual payments and arrears from the GBPA through the second phase of arbitration. We will keep moving ahead with the Freeport Health Campus, the Grand Bahama International Airport, and the Grand Lucayan redevelopment. Grand Bahama carries too much promise to drift. So we intend to help write a new chapter for that island. With growth in tourism, in logistics, and maritime activity, technology, events, and enterprise. This is what we will do. A development plan for every single island. Greater investment in the family islands. A new city in Andros. "19 airports completed, a clear path for Grand Bahama, and a stronger future for the whole of the Bahamas." That is the work ahead. That is the direction. And that is why we ask the Bahamian people to choose progress. Thank you. Welcome back.
I'm here at the New Bight International Airport construction site. It is progressing magnificently, as you can see. This infrastructure will be the catalyst for opportunities for Cat Islanders and investors.
Here we are at another Family Island airport, Arthurstown, where the runway is around 90% complete.
For us, creating opportunities for our people through the development of infrastructure.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We are live here at the Harry C. Moore Library at the University of the Bahamas. The Progressive Liberal Party is here this evening to make its case and present that case to the Bahamian people of why it deserves a second term in office. I'm joined now by Senator Deasante Small. This is a jam-packed program. I'm telling you, we're just trying to weave our way in. You heard Clay Sweeting just before we took the break, and of course he came on, and he was on a moment ago, talking about the airports that have been built, the way forward for Grand Bahama. Your thoughts about some of the points he made?
What I really liked was the way forward for Andres. Thank you. The way forward for Andres. A lot of times we talk about it, and I think more and more family islands are seeing themselves. You hear what's happening in Grand Bahama. You hear what's happening in Cuba. So now you see more islands coming on stream and getting the full attention they deserve. And so it means, again, not just progress for some of us. It means progress for all of us.
Progress for the entire nation. They also talked about the airport renaissance that's underway, and the fact that that also represents progress, growth, and something new for each family island economy.
Correct. And also, and then what Minister Sweeting said wasn't just about the economy, but the quality of life for family islanders. When you talk about access to healthcare and essential resources and services, those airports are gateways to how our people have access to the best life possible.
Yes, absolutely. And again, that to rework a deal with the Port Authority that works, something that will also move Grand Bahama along in the desired direction.
Correct. And what he spoke about a lot about is collaboration. Not just about the government shifting that away, but making sure that everyone's coming at the table and doing what's best for Grand Bahamians.
Yes, absolutely. Now, describe the energy in this room this evening. I love to bring my audience into where I'm at. Let's just talk about the energy, the interest, the appetite, and also the anticipation of the people in this room. Even obviously they are party supporters, but there are others as well who just came to see. But talk about the interest and how encouraging this is for this administration.
This is very interesting. I've been in this space in terms of us releasing our documents. It's usually done in different ways. You normally hear a lot about the plans at rallies when there's a lot of music, but today was very intentional. It's a conversation with the average Bahamian, one-on-one, wherever you are, whether you're in this room, whether you're at home, but making sure that you could actually hear us, hear what we've done, see what we've done, look and feel, but also let's talk about where we're going forward in a way that you can hear and see yourself. And so I think we've removed a lot of the rally, we've moved a lot of the lights and all of that, and we've had a conversation with the Bahamian people tonight, and I think that is progress.
No, I think what's so interesting, you're hearing from the men and women themselves. For example, right now, as Minister of Agriculture, Jomo Campbell, who's up at the front of the room, but this is also intentional to hear from their voices, this vision, that's a comprehensive vision. I'm not going to speak anymore. We're going to send it right now to the front of the room where Jomo Campbell is giving his address.
Circulating in the Bahamian economy every single year. That is money staying here, creating jobs here, empowering Bahamian farmers right here at home. And how will we do it? To drive this transformation, we will launch the Farm Bahamas digital platform, putting real-time weather data, soil intelligence, market pricing, and buyer demand directly into the hands of every registered farmer. This is about precision. This is about productivity. This is about profitability. This is about progress. We will also establish an Agriculture Innovation Center in partnership with the University of the Bahamas, BAMSI, and CARDI, bringing research, training, and practical support under one roof to modernize and strengthen the entire sector. And we are moving beyond the traditional thinking. Through our national containerized farm program, we will deploy solar-powered, AI-controlled container farms across 7 major islands by 2028. This means year-round production, less water usage, and fresh, high-quality food processed closer to our communities. At the same time, we will introduce a national agriculture drone program, training and certifying 100 Bahamian drone pilots by 2028 through BTVI and BAMSI. This is smarter agriculture, better soil management, real-time crop monitoring, efficient spraying, and the creation of a new generation of modern farmers. Friends, we are poised to complete the Golden Yoke Poultry Program, scaling production to 14 million eggs annually, and then expanding it to 3 Family Island locations, and achieving 80% egg self-sufficiency within this term. And why are we doing this? Because food security is national security. We will also launch the Young Farmers and Agri-Tech Corps, providing scholarships, access to land, starter kits, and mentorship to support 500 young farmers by 2029, with at least 40% of them being women. This, friends, is how we build a sustainable pipeline of talent. And because production means nothing without distribution, we will establish solar-powered aggregation and cold storage hubs across 6 major islands, leveraging technology to reduce spoilage and strengthen supply chains. Less waste, less loss, more food from farm to table. This is our blueprint. We will lower the food bill. We will empower Bahamian farmers. And we will embrace innovation to produce more. And more importantly, we will keep more of the value of what we eat right here in the Bahamas. Thank you.
Good night, but where's my chairs? I thought so. Well, I hope everyone is enjoying their night. We sure are.
Diasante Jomo Campbell there speaking about food security, something that is incredibly important to the Bahamas. We import near $1 billion, if not over $1 billion worth of food each year. Food security important to the region and certainly the Bahamas. Your thoughts about those 500 new farmers, and in particular, I mean about 40% or so of them women, intentionally so.
Yes, and so what you see is that we're not just talking about food security. You said it best, it's national security. And I keep talking about opportunity is amazing, and that's what this Blueprint Progress has shown. But it's also about access. And he's talking about using technology to ensure, again, our family islands, ensuring that our young people are being trained, ensuring that you are able to see the opportunity. Because it's not just about putting your hand in the ground. It's now I could be innovative in how I approach this. And so we are using our established facilities like BTVI, and we're enhancing them. We're expanding their programs, and it becomes very attractive. So when you stay home, you're not just staying home, you're getting access to real innovative initiatives and programs and studies that help our country move forward. And so I think it's a really holistic approach to how we help as young people move our country forward, especially as women being a part of that, as they want to see their families be better, make healthier choices. Yes, VAT is now cheaper on those healthier choices, but you want to be able to grow that in your backyard as well. And I know that you're looking at, being an influencer one day, and maybe being an influencer, also a farmer, and so now the options are endless. You don't have to choose one or the other. You get to truly grow that.
This administration is also very keen on being a leader in the region in AI technology, something that obviously is pretty dominant in the world and is helping usher people into financial freedom in so many other ways. Let's talk about. I must send this to the state. Listen, I tell you, real talk, okay? Real talk.
Yes.
However, the Fort Charlotte candidate, Sebastian, is now at the front of the room addressing this audience, and so we'll send it back to the front.
Moves forward with confidence. Our focus has not changed. Expand access, increase supply, and create more pathways for ownership for Bahamian families. It is not just a policy issue. Housing is a fundamental human right. And that conviction is how we're going to deliver results. We will build a continuous pipeline for affordable homes across Nassau and the Family Island by partnering with high-capacity developers to increase and accelerate construction efforts. This will include new subdivisions in areas where demand is continuously growing, as well as we will have a social acquisition program that will purchase, rehabilitate distressed homes, abandoned properties, and bring them back to the affordable housing pool. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we will move faster, build smarter, and deliver housing at scale. Now, not every Bahamian is ready to own today. We recognize that. But every Bahamian deserves access to affordable living. So we will expand our affordable rental opportunities. Through private sector partnerships, we will increase the supply of quality rental units at prices that working Bahamians can afford. This initiative will bring and provide flexibility for families to ensure that housing options are readily available at every stage of life. At the same time, we will significantly expand our rent-to-own program that will simplify access and provide essential workers who serve our country every single day with an opportunity to own themselves a home. Our rent-to-own program creates a real path to ownership by allowing families to build equity while living in their homes, moving them steadily towards long-term security. We will strengthen tenant protections by introducing enforceable minimum standards, establishing a rental property registry, and we will create a residential tenancy authority with the power to inspect, enforce, and ensure compliance. Let me be clear. Landlords who rent unsafe, unhealthy, low standard of living spaces will be held accountable. Too many Bahamians are paying good money for places with poor plumbing, unsafe wiring, and conditions that fall below the decent standard of living. There will be rules, there will be penalties, and there will be change. And for families, and for those families that are facing sudden displacement, we are introducing temporary social housing to provide immediate short-term accommodations along with coordinated support services to get families back on their feet as quickly as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our plan. We're going to build more homes. expand affordable rental, strengthen the rent-to-own, protect our tenants, and support families in crisis. And as we continue to build on progress, we will move forward with clear goals, ensuring that every single Bahamian have a place to call home. And that stronger foundation is how we will build the future. This is progress you can build on. Thank you.
BPL was more than $500 million in debt.
Sebastian, they're addressing this very excited, very enthusiastic audience this evening here at the Harry Seymour Library at the University of the Bahamas, talking about housing, something that is totally important, and then something also that's very obviously historic moving forward. That is holding landlords accountable. That is holding landlords accountable. That's holding just providing emergency housing when needed. I promise you, you will have the first word after this speaker. But this right here is the JoBeth Colby-Davis, Minister of Energy, now speaking to this audience.
Unreliable, and built on short-term fixes. You know it. You've lived it. High bills that strain families. Power outages that disrupt businesses. And a system that never seemed to get ahead, only patched together. That is what we inherited. And that is exactly what we are changing. We are delivering the most significant transformation of our energy system in a generation because the Bahamian people deserve power that is reliable, affordable, and built to last. And let me be clear, this is not talk. This is transformation already underway. We are moving to retire BPL's legacy debt burden within the next term. Because a utility buried in old debt cannot serve its people. We are ending the era of expensive rental generators that drained millions from this country every year without building anything permanent. And we are replacing it with real infrastructure, liquefied natural gas, utility-scale solar, and battery energy storage systems. Not stopgap measures, but a modern system designed to lower costs, improve reliability, and secure our energy future. For too long, the country paid for inefficiency. Now, we are building for stability. We will roll out smart meters nationwide and introduce time-of-use tariffs so Bahamians can finally have control over how and when they use electricity. No more guessing. No more being in the dark about your own bill. This is about putting power, real power, back in the hands of the people. We will complete all 23 microgrid and solar projects within the next term, bringing stronger, more reliable electricity to all of our family islands. We are also bringing electricity to Potter's Key Dock. Not promises, projects, not delays, delivery. Every island, every community, every Bahamian. And for the first time, we are bringing Grand Bahama into one unified national energy strategy. We will no longer be a fragmented energy system. We are one country with one direction and one standard for reliability, pricing, and service. And let's talk about jobs, because transformation is not just about power plants. It is about people. Every solar panel installed, every battery system deployed, every LNG unit commissioned, every smart meter connected is a job opportunity for a Bahamian. And we are making that non-negotiable. We will embed local content requirements into every major energy contract, because the jobs created by this transformation must belong to our people. We want Bahamians trained. We want Bahamians certified. We want Bahamians hired. And we want Bahamians leading. Now, the choice before this country is simple. We can go back to the old system, high costs, unreliable service, and temporary fixes, or we can move forward with a modern, disciplined, national energy strategy that is already delivering results. Lower exposure to fuel volatility, stronger and more reliable infrastructure, and a system designed to finally work for the Bahamian people. Lower bills, fewer outages, more Bahamian jobs. That is the difference. That is the direction. And that is why we ask the Bahamian people to choose progress.
Minister JoBeth Colby-Davis here this evening live at the Harry Seymour Library at the University of the Bahamas. It is the Progressive Liberal Party's launch of its Blueprint for Progress, making a case to the Bahamian people of what's been done in this term, and also, should they be successful at the polls on May 12th, what they have planned. Let's just talk about, for example, Sebastian and what he had to say to this audience. JoBeth Colby-Davis, what she had to say to this audience, and what the picture that they're painting for the way forward for the nation.
I think what's very clear is that first we could really speak to what we've done, but they didn't pause there, they didn't linger there. What they spoke about is where we need to go forward, because for every Bahamian, we're talking about housing, we're talking about affordability, we're talking about the cost of living, and again, we're not just accepting it as a reality, but what are we going to do differently? And you're hearing those ideas in a way that's very tangible. When I'm on social media, when I'm in different conversations, this is exactly what Bahamians are talking about. How can my light bill be
the
lower?
hot button issues, and exactly what Bahamians want touched and addressed and to get clarity on is what's being discussed here this evening.
Yes, no guessing about your meter and what that number is. You're talking about affordable rent. You're talking about when you walk into a space, what you're actually renting is quality, and holding those landlords
that's
accountable.
important, holding those landlords accountable, and not putting a chicken coop up and figuring they're going to attach $1,500 to that a month and call it rent.
Correct, because people not just want access to affordability, but access to quality.
Absolutely.
To know that when I lay my head at night, I'm comfortable, where I'm staying is comfortable, my family is comfortable. It's a sense of relief and safety that even when you're paying those bills, it doesn't matter, doesn't make sense. And so I think they really spoke exactly to the hot spots of those Bahamian people tonight.
Yes, absolutely. We are getting ready now. The Deputy Prime Minister is preparing to address this audience here at the Harry Seymour Library at the University of the Bahamas. And as soon as he does this, we will obviously send it to the front of the room. But let's just talk about the heavy lift that is energy that JoBeth Colby-Davis and this Davis administration sort of made it their business to tackle something that's been plaguing the nation for decades, that they decided this is what they're going to put on the front burner in this term.
I think you can't avoid it, because the average, no matter where you are, no matter your socioeconomic background, energy is very important to your business, to your home, to our schools, our restaurants. In order for us to be able to move forward, we need reliable energy and affordable energy. And so we've passionately addressed it, but we have a lot more work to do, and we are committed to doing that, and that's what tonight is all about.
Thank you, Diasante. We're going to send it now to the front of the room where Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper is preparing to address this audience.
We must never forget the feeling of hopelessness, uncertainty, and vulnerability. There was a cry for transformative change.
And there was a cry across this country for stable, compassionate leadership. And our Prime Minister answered that call. In 2021, I was honored to launch with Prime Minister Davis our Blueprint for Change. It was not just an election document. It was a roadmap to recover, rebuild, and revolutionize. And the Bahamas has come an incredibly long way, but not so far that we have forgotten what it felt like to be left behind. We have come too far to go backwards now. Tonight you have heard about delivery, you've heard about commitments made and commitments kept. And we are now tracking them. Yes, a lot has been done, but there is still a lot more to do. We're engaged in a fast-changing, unpredictable world. A world in which we cannot afford guesswork. Tourism remains our greatest source of revenue, bringing in record numbers of visitors, billions of dollars of spend in the economy every year, and even more in foreign direct investments. So what happens abroad affects the lives of every Bahamian. We've seen it before. The war sparked by Russia's invasion of Ukraine created economic uncertainty. It disrupted supply chains and drove prices up right here at home. And today, new pressures are here. Tariffs, global tensions, conflicts in the Middle East. They go beyond headlines. They hit us in our pockets. And this is where the difference becomes clear. These times demands leadership that can build infrastructure across islands, incubate new industries, and drive an economy that creates opportunities. And at this time, we need leadership that continues to manage the country through shocks we cannot predict. And the truth is that you cannot manage a serious country in serious times with unserious leadership. And you can't trust the future of the Bahamas to people who have no plan. Only the PLP has a blueprint for progress. And it's for the next 5 years and beyond. The Bahamas cannot afford complacency. We must remain focused and on track. We must continue to innovate. We must continue to grow our economy. We must continue to invest in our people. And we must continue to incentivize ownership. And we must continue to position the Bahamas to win in a changing world. We cannot afford to waste time because of petty politics. We cannot afford leadership consumed with infighting battles in their own party rather than governing. We cannot afford untested leadership starting from scratch, trying to build credibility in the international arena. We have capable, strong, stable, tested leadership led by Prime Minister Philip Edward Brave Davis And I am exceedingly proud to stand with him. And we have a team that understands the moment. A team that prioritizes Bahamian empowerment. And we have a plan in which you can have confidence. Not just a plan with a series of gimmicks. And so on May 12th, the choice will be clear. We come too far to turn back now. We choose to move forward. We choose the Progressive Liberal Party. A party that will continue to guide us with experienced leadership that has delivered. And with God's grace, we will build on all the progress that has already been delivered. I don't know about you, but I choose progress. We choose progress. Thank you. God bless you.
Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper and Minister of Tourism are saying here and emphasizing, in fact hammering it home, that he, along with this room full of people and supporters, choose progress. Yes. Progress that the PLP has been laying out since 8 o'clock this evening, that they have done this term and intend to do should they be successful at the polls on May 12th, the next term.
So tonight, I know you feel the energy, but what you also feel is the commitment. Because what we have tonight is we've had our tracker. You see that we've delivered progress. We have a team that's rallying behind each other, that's proud of the work we've done, but they're excited for the work that's ahead. Because for too long, we've done this set, stop, review, let's start again, let's cancel. So we are saying let's build on that progress. Let's keep the work going. Because we should not leave this to chance. We cannot. Because the other side, they're not organized, they're not unified, but they're also not ready to build upon this progress. What they're prepared to do is stop, review, cancel, and we cannot as a country keep doing that. We cannot afford to keep doing that. And that's what our Deputy Prime Minister really laid over, and I'm with him. We choose progress.
Let's talk about also what's key here this evening. What we are noticing is this team. The fact that this team does appear to be quite very strong, supporting one another, picking up where the next one left off, and really there to kind of drive home and what's necessary for the Bahamas right now. Let's just talk about this team that you have in place headed into the next election.
I'm so proud of our team. I'm proud of our team because we are unified. It's not what we just look like we're doing, it's who we are. We're working each and every day. We're training alongside each other. We're walking alongside each other. But we've also been working alongside each other for the past 4.5 years, going on 5 years. And I think that's a reflection of our leadership. Philip Brave Davis, our Prime Minister, is very intentional in how we unify as a party, how we move as a party, but how we always operate in love and respect for each other. We might not always get along, but that's a part of the process. But progress requires us to be united to get the work done for the Bahamian people, and that's what you see there today. It's a team that's truly led well.
I'll tell you this, my youth panel often come on and they appear and they talk about programs that have been introduced and are in place this term that they are very impressed by. Let's just talk about some of them. I think this gentleman here is speaking of one of the programs, the National Youth Garden, but so many others. Talk about the impact that you are hearing and how the youth, first-time voter, youth voter, are very interested and excited about these programs.
They're interested in those programs because it's allowing them to be empowered to help themselves. It's not just a handout for a minute and a moment. What it's saying to me is that I can enter a classroom, I can enter a national program, I can be a part of PHA Academy, I could be a part of these initiatives and empower myself so that however this lands, I could be better off than when I was 5 years ago. This particular program that's on now, the beneficiary, he is a recipient of our transplant program. It's one of those programs that really are at my heart because I see so many of our Bahamian people at the dialysis centers and units. And so to see this father and son story come to life, the sacrifice, and knowing what this transplant program means for so many more.
Well, you know what? Let's hear more of exactly what he has to say. Let's hear more of his story. We're going to send it back to the front.
I can run. I can jump. My quality of life is back to pre-dialysis. I'm able to spend time with my family, spend time, with my son. The simple things that you don't think of. Prime Minister, if I must just say, sir, thank you for you. Thank you for what you've done. I appreciate you. My family appreciates you. I am proof of the promises that you made. Thank you.
You know, 2 years before we became the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, I had the opportunity to sit with our Prime Minister on many occasions as we traveled from island to island and to speak specifically about what we would do should the Lord give us an opportunity to govern. And our brother who was just here a few minutes ago is a clear indication that we are on the road for healthcare recovery reform. And thanks to you, Prime Minister, for your dedication and your support to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. When we talk about healthcare, we are talking about people. We are talking about the lives of people. We are talking about the impact they're having on their families, as well as their loved ones. We are talking about families who need care when it matters most, and the confidence that they have in a healthcare system that will meet their needs in real time. That is the future we have started to build over the last 4.5 years, and we will continue. We will complete the Freeport Health Campus and build a multi-story medical facility that we promised the residents of Grand Bahama. And we will deliver the new specialty hospital facility here in New Providence. That means modern healthcare services and modern healthcare infrastructure, expanded capacity, improved delivery care systems for our people. We're also moving forward with extending health insurance coverage to all public servants, including contract government workers. It is our firm belief that those who serve our country should know that they are protected when they become ill. That kind of security should not be uncertain, but a firm commitment that we are prepared to make. At the same time, we're taking a long-term approach to the health of our population. We will continue to build on the National Health Strategy and implement a 10-year plan to reduce cancers, diabetes, kidney disease, heart disease, with a focus on prevention, early detection, and community-based care. Mental health is another area we will continue to do more with the adoption of a new 4-year National Mental Health Suicide Prevention Strategic Plan, where we will launch a 24-hour National Suicide Prevention Hotline and establish community mental health centers so that individuals who suffer from chronic mental illnesses will have the services they need at the appropriate time in the community. We are also taking preventative steps to support people living with chronic conditions. We will expand access to GLP-1, which is a glucagon-like peptide agonist, through National Health Insurance Drug Prescription Plan to help reduce the incidence of diabetes and obesity in our country. We will also expand the catastrophic health care fund because no family should be overwhelmed by the cost of any serious medical illness. For those living in our family islands, access to care must continue to improve. We will expand telemedicine networks at our major clinics over our first 2 years in governance so more Bahamians can access secondary and emergency health care closer to their home. We will also do major investments in our people by ensuring that our health system is run effectively on a daily basis. We will strengthen training, as you've seen from our PHA Academy, by expanding services in our private colleges and universities. And we will ensure that we recruit more healthcare workers, both locally and internationally, to support the necessary healthcare delivery systems throughout our archipelago. Because at the end of the day, our healthcare system is only as strong as the people who deliver care in our healthcare services. And there's one issue we cannot ignore, and that is the quality of healthcare services for our seniors. Too many of our seniors are left in our hospitals. Too many of our seniors are left in our hospital, not because they need medical care, but because they have been abandoned. That is not something that we need to continue in our country. It is a social issue, and we need to address it. We will introduce legislation to deal with elder abandonment. Families will have a duty to provide care for the elderly, and the social service network will have a strong authority to act earlier for our seniors who have been abandoned. Our seniors deserve better protection and dignity in the quality of their final years in life. This is our healthcare commitment to the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Wide insurance coverage, a longer-term plan to fight chronic diseases, support mental health, improve access to care across our family islands, invest in our healthcare workers, and the protection for our seniors. This strategy is about building a system that works for the people in their respective places and to improve their qualities of lives. That is why we're asking the Bahamian people for a second consecutive term Yes. The Progressive Liberal Party need a second consecutive term in office so that we continue moving forward with health care reform and to ensure that every Bahamian in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas access quality health care services for themselves and their loved ones. I say choose progress. Are you going to choose progress? Let's choose progress under the leadership of our leader, the Honorable Philip Davis. Thank you. God bless you.
Minister of Health, Dr. Michael Darville, addressing this audience and by extension the country tonight, speaking on something that's very, very important, Asante, to the nation. Healthcare reform. We see the fact that the public healthcare system is limping along and has been for many decades. It's not an easy fix. It's something that successive ministers of health have attempted and administrations have attempted to get right. Let's just talk about some of the things he announced that he has introduced and worked in and also has planned for the next term should he be successful moving forward.
So what he spoke a lot about is investing firstly in our people, healthcare workers. Through the PHA Academy, we've seen hundreds of our students succeed and be able to add to the healthcare profession. But what we also see is that we are going to increase that investment, which you have seen as, and I know it's a pain point, because every day we have to use these facilities. And so while you're renovating and fixing, you're still using. And so he speaks more about expanding those. We're talking about modernized hospitals. I cannot wait to see it. I'm always around my colleagues in that space. Additionally, what he spoke about as well is our seniors. I think a lot of times when we're in these spaces, you think about young people, you think about women, but what's also important is our elderly.
Absolutely.
And ensuring that in their last years there's dignity and care.
Absolutely.
And he spoke a lot about their abandonment, their quality of life, and what we could do to ensure that their safety is prioritized and their health is prioritized.
So important to an overall health of a nation,
yes.
And obviously future of a nation. You can't ignore our seniors or even the younger ones, and so very important. Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe is now speaking to this audience and, of course, the nation. We're going to send it back to the front of the room.
So intervention, support, and resolution can happen early in communities that need it the most. We will construct a therapeutic boarding school for at-risk youth. Built around education, counseling, life skills, and mentorship. Because too many young people need structure, guidance, and a real chance to change direction. We will expand community policing and declare whole build strategy that is working. We will expand CCTV and the use of technology. And we will introduce non-lethal policing options so officers have better tools to protect the public and respond with good judgment. We will also move justice faster. And to do so, we will launch a backlog reduction court to clear outstanding cases. We will establish a dedicated sexual offenses court. And we will complete the new correctional facility and virtual court complex already started so that justice is stronger from arrest to trial to rehabilitation. We will also strengthen the protection of our borders with clear rules, digital enforcement, and real consequences. We will procure a national biometric immigration system and deploy biometric e-gates that flag prior deportees and multiple identity fraud with overstay alerts triggered within 48 hours. We will implement daily overstay fines from day one. We will strengthen employer compliance because for every undocumented worker you have, you will pay. The penalties will rise from $5,000 for your first offense to $10,000 for your second offense, and then up to $15,000 plus 12 months in prison for your third offense. In addition, employers who intentionally and repeatedly break our immigration laws will also face a ban that will preclude them from reapplying for work permits for up to a period. We will establish a prohibited employer register, and violators can be barred from obtaining work permits for up to 5 years. We will also launch a Bahamian E-Verify portal, create an immigration fraud intelligence unit, and move immigration service fully into the digital age with stronger identification verification and fraud detection. Now let me be clear, equally clear, on fraud by public officers. If you facilitate passport fraud or document fraud, you will face mandatory penalties of up to 10 years imprisonment. Or fines up to $50,000 or both. We will also implement a stronger statutory re-entry ban system so foreign nationals who breach our immigration laws face real consequences before they can return to this country. And not just that, on health care, which is a vexing issue, migrants will have to carry health insurance or enroll in a new migrant health insurance scheme. No longer will our public health care system have to bear the burden on its own. This is our commitment. Safer communities, faster justice, better intervention for young people, stronger borders, and a country where the law is enforced with fairness, consistency, and seriousness. We ask you to choose progress.
Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe addressing some very big elephants, not just in the room but in the country, and getting applause for it. And of course, immigration. Immigrants having to pay their fair share now. We know access to health care is a universal right, but Bahamians are tired of being saddled with that bill that oftentimes immigrants just walk in and freely get. And so these are some of the issues that he has addressed that are very, very key, even in this election cycle.
So immigration is a very hot topic, along with crime, safety. I think what we have done today, again, is that we're not just sitting and saying this is all the work that we've done. We're saying that there's more work to do. And I think it's very pivotal to talk about not just the paying their way, it's ensuring that it alleviates more pressure on us as Bahamians.
Absolutely.
Us, right? It means that when I get in there, I get even more quality health care, so that ties there. The next thing he spoke about was holding those violators accountable and putting stricter policies in place to hold them accountable. And I think, again, you're hearing someone speak very clearly.
Yes.
This is not a rally stage.
Yeah.
So you can hear it. You can't miss it.
No,
and you're listening very attentively to the intention.
Let's talk about tonight and how this all rolled out. We're, of course, getting ready for Prime Minister Davis to go back on the stage. You know, he opened this evening. Now he's going to obviously put the icing on the cake this evening and give his national address. But let's just talk about how this all rolled out this evening, and the message was given bit by bit so that people can buy pieces of it.
And while I love rallies, I love Clifford Park, I can't wait. But what you see tonight is a conversation with the Bahamian people, not just with PLPs, not just with party supporters, but you see it with the Bahamian people. And it was very intentional, so we want to make the Bahamian people hear us, see the progress we've made, and see the commitments we are making to continue to deliver on that progress.
Asante, I'm not going to say much more. We're going to send it now to the podium where Prime Minister Davis is getting ready to make his address.
Friends, this evening, you've heard some of the highlights of what the Progressive Party offers as our platform for governance should we be granted a second term. You know, I encourage you to read it for yourself. Don't rely on what others tell you. See for yourself. Because within that platform are serious proposals, building on the progress we have made so far, and mindful of the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. You have seen tonight from the evidence presented in our blueprint tracker that the PLP in government knows how to deliver. Out of the 387 commitments we made in our blueprint for change, 325 were completed or in progress. And our country is better for it. I am proud to run on our track record. It is not perfect, but we have lifted the country out of the multiple crises we met and put us on a path of growth and positive national development. Those challenging us should be invited to defend their own track record and explain to the Bahamians the many failures of their previous administration. Our new platform, Building on Progress, commits us to building on those existing plans and expanding on our ambition for the country for the next term. Everyone seeking your vote should be able to tell you how they will govern on your behalf. When they come asking for your vote, ask them, what is your plan? They may give you free gas today. Or they may give you $200 tomorrow. But what is their plan? Do they have the credibility to deliver on that plan? Do you believe that a party that hasn't built a single house in many years suddenly has the credibility to magically build thousands of houses in the next few years? On May 13th, do you want to wake up to a party that is divided, has no sensible plan, who time and again have proven themselves to be incompetent? Or do you want to wake up to a government with a proven track record, united behind a vision of how to work towards a better Bahamas, and a well-prepared to engage with the rest of the world, well prepared to engage with the rest of the world to promote and defend the interests of all Bahamians? Do you want to wake up to a government who, no matter how they try to rephrase it, want to stop the school breakfast program, review the National Youth Guard, cancel the new hospital and clinics? Sadly, I fear Their response will be as it has always been in the past. Their strategy is merely to attack and pull us down. They will say anything without any concern regarding the truth to try and force a back and forth scandalous conversation and avoid the real conversation about plans to take the country forward. This time, we will not indulge them. We will not be responding to every petty insult, petty allegations, suddenly produced a few days or weeks before the polls. Bahamians deserve better than this. The other side may hurl anger and abuse to make you hate us just to get elected. But what happens the morning after? I remind you, that is what happened in 2017, when they managed to persuade some that everything we had achieved was fake. Remember? They even said that Bahama was fake, along with a lot of other nonsense. There was no genuine plan for the Bahamas, no genuine vision for the Bahamian people. And as a result, we suffered. The country suffered. They're now trying it now. They're now trying it again. Spreading hate-filled fear and rumors about illegal immigrants, when the record shows how we have strengthened our borders, worked with the Americans and international partners to reduce illegal migration and arms smuggling. I will continue to stand up for the Bahamas and Bahamians, as I have always done. I will continue to work to make sure that the Bahamas has a seat at the important tables. And even though I disagree with our opponents over how the country should be governed, I give them the respect as fellow Bahamians to expect that they will also stand up. All of us, we as Bahamians. And we must stand up when it's necessary. So attacking our national institutions and public offices and casting doubt on our national instruments, it hurts the country. There's a saying that offers a warning to all of us. An evil man will burn his own nation to the ground, just to rule over the ashes. Oh, it's a hard saying, yet it carries truth. There are so many, well, put another way, there are those so hungry for power that they would leave a country wounded, bitter, and broken, so long as they get to sit on the top of that rubble. I say, let us fight vigorously and fairly, but do so within the bounds of this decency and respect. Let us resist the dark satisfaction that can come from mockery, humiliation, and public cruelty. Those things may stir a crowd for a moment, but they can never build a nation. Politics is not a license for cruelty. Politics must never become a reason to despise one another. Politics must never persuade us that winning matters more than who we become in the process. So, my friends, on May 12th, you have a choice. Will you choose to go forward or to turn back? Will you choose to build on the progress made so far or start again? Will you choose experienced leadership or petty infighters? My friends, choose wisely. Choose opportunity. Choose growth. Choose education. Choose better health care. Choose stronger borders. Choose safer communities. Choose a stronger economy, a fair economy. Choose food security. Choose affordable housing and cheaper energy. Choose opportunity. Choose for your future. Let us choose progress. Let's choose progress. And may God bless you all. And may God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
For nearly 2 hours, the Progressive Liberal Party has made its case. It's presented its blueprint for progress 2026 and beyond should this party be successful at the polls. Senator Deasante Small has been here next to me. It's been really a very power-packed, a very comprehensive, a very thorough evening. Your thoughts on the Prime Minister and what he had to say and his argument, his case rather, to the Bahamian people?
I think his argument, firstly, it gives me comfort in his leadership. It says, I've made a promise, this is where I delivered, and so now I can trust you again to continue to build on that progress and to your commitments again. Because you show. You could have definitely just said, I hope you feel it, I hope you see it. No. Let's go line by line. Let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's measure what we've done. So that when we say to the people, trust us again, believe in us again, we're going to deliver again, you could actually say yes. I've seen what they've done before, they're going to do it again. And so I'm really excited because what we've laid out here tonight is no small task. These are big ideas that really impact every Bahamian across this country. And I am believing tonight that the Bahamian people have heard the vision, but also the commitment to build on that progress.
The Prime Minister, along with his team, as you said, have laid out bit by bit, everyone covering a niche area, but an important area to the further development of this nation. How do you think they all work? How convincing were they? How did they all present themselves?
I don't think tonight was about convincing. I think it was about saying, okay, I've done the work. Here's my report. But also, what am I committed to do as a next generation of leaders? I don't think they're trying to convince. I think they're trying to connect. Connect Bahamian people to the fact that this is what progress
How
means to
successful
them.
was that connection in your opinion?
The connection is real. Why? Because tonight, as a woman, I heard where I'm included. As a young person, I heard where I'm included. As a small business owner, as someone designing for my own home, as someone who was thinking about my senior citizen mom. She's not going to like that one, right? As soon to be senior citizen mom. When I think about education, when I think about my nieces and my nephews and their access to opportunities, I saw each and every one of us somewhere in tonight's plan. My loved ones in the family island, they can find themselves there. And so I think they're connecting to the message, they're connecting to the commitment. And I really believe tonight they see themselves as a part of the progress.
As the PLP gets ready to really get into this campaign season ahead of May 12th, do you think tonight laid a good enough and solid enough foundation for them to now move off on?
Oh yes, I think we have been building on our momentum in everything that we've been doing, from the quality of selection of our candidates and the way that we've moved as one team from the beginning. No bunch of infighting and distractions. Our leaders have been very, very intentional with how we move, that our message is bigger than anything else. And now as well tonight is that we are clear. We've laid out a message to the people, so you're not lost in the hoorah and in the fluff. You get to have that conversation and that connection, and that was real. And we're going to keep having that conversation. We're going to keep showing up door to door, on every stage, on every platform, because the Bahamian people deserve the respect to have that conversation.
If there was an area that this administration must pay attention to, one of the areas, because you heard him say about 380 plus promises and policy commitments made, and over 320 or 240 accomplished. So if there was an area where they lacked and they sort of fell short, where would that be in your opinion?
I don't want to say in my opinion, because the tracker specifically, and that's why I'm happy about the tracker, because it did not hide that. You could see in the red spots where we would have missed or what's still being worked on. I think
what is that one is one of the areas that that you all missed
now
that
you're
you
pulling
think
me back
that
now, right? It's been a lot of information today, but I think one of the things we're building on is that we have more work to do in the areas of energy. We have more work to do in the areas of immigration, and I think that's what they laid out tonight. And I think we're not ignoring that. We're facing that head on, and we're doing even more. We're building on that.
Asante, always awesome seeing you. Thank you very much for hanging out with me for the last 2 hours. Thank you so much, and I thank all of you for tuning in this evening. It certainly has been awesome having you here. I hope that you heard a lot of what you needed to hear as we move forward in this 2026 general election campaign ahead of May 12th. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team who joined me here at the University of the Bahamas for this special political paid broadcast, I'm Shanique Miller. Everyone have an amazing evening. Look forward to seeing you right back in studio tomorrow evening. Have a great evening, everyone.